the referee about to get this bout underway. He's spoken to the ringside official and timekeeper. The first bell for round 1 has gone, and Lev Jackson taking that center stage as the southpaw establishing his jab, establishing his positioning. I'd like to see a little bit from Luis Prieto. He's going to have to utilize his jab. He's not currently utilizing it in the most orthodox fashion. He seems to be kind of pawing and pushing away at Lev, you know, and the snap of that jab is going to be everything for these opening exchanges, unless he has a little trick up his sleeve.
Yeah, well, one thing we know about Lev Jackson is he does like to work the body. He's not afraid of ducking down there and changing levels and finding his way in. So I'm expecting to see Lev to work the body a lot tonight once he finds his timing and his range. Yeah, with the left hand there straight to the midsection of Prieto.
Absolutely. I think Prieto's landed 2 right hands now, and I think it's down to really Lev's movement and positioning there. You know, Prieto's coming in very, very relaxed. I'm almost a little bit suspicious that Prieto actually probably engages in a little bit of Muay Thai or kickboxing. He does have that kind of open, high lead hand guard, and he's got this timing and tempo in his bounce that says maybe he mixes it up just a little bit. He's landed another right hand in there. Beautiful double upper into straight right hand land for Luis Prieto. That is the 5th of the evening. You know, and Lev is going to have to answer a little bit more conclusively if he's going to create any daylight between these two fighters tonight, Harry.
Yeah, I need to see a little bit more volume, I think, for this to go in Lev's direction, but appreciate it's only round 1 of 6 rounds this evening, and guys are just still figuring out their timing and their distance here.
Absolutely. You know, Lev Jackson does take fights at short notice. Lev Jackson does take fights at long notice. He's always keen. He's always in the gym. You know, he loves the sport. He's been involved as an amateur for many years in British Columbia. He's a hell of a nice fella. You know, and I'd like to see a little bit more from him here this evening. Yeah,
bloodied up already on the mouth of Lev Jackson, taking one of those shots square to the chops there from Prieto. He's got a little bit of blood coming out of the top lip there.
Yep, absolutely. You know, I do know beautiful right uppercut. Lev walking into Luis's right hands this evening. You know, Prieto is going to have to time his shots just a little bit better if they're going to really add that sting, but it's doing the job right now, Harry. Another right hand. You know, when you're dropping your rear hand, especially the southpaw, you're going to have to do something about your alignment, and if both are off, you're going to be asking for trouble.
Yeah, it's a fascinating battle between orthodox and southpaw here, left foot to right foot forward, and it's so much of a footwork battle who's going to win that lead exchange with the lead leg. But right now, Prieto seems to be doing quite well. Very composed for a few looks on Lev's face there, eating a couple of shots. I think he's been a bit surprised by Luis's power.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I think this is, you know, I don't know how much homework Lev has done. I do know that his team are quite efficient at their preparations, but I don't know anything about Luis Prieto, and perhaps this is the issue, that if all you can really find on YouTube is him making a debut 13 years ago as an amateur, as a young lad, that's actually sometimes plays into your favour when you're a bit of an unknown quantity.
Yeah, I agree. Time here for the end of the first round, but yeah, if there's no tape to
beautiful right hand landed there again, once again, taking the forward momentum of Lev Jackson. He's got a little bit of work on, and the end. Very relaxed customer tonight. He's a very smooth and cool operator, I have to say. I'm impressed so far.
Here we go, coming into round 2. Yeah, Lev eating a couple of shots there on the way in, just not moving his head off the centre line, and just eating the punches of Luis square there. But one thing I've noticed as well, Luis keeps his head rather high up. He doesn't tuck his chin very much at all. He's quite high with his chin there, like you say. It would allude to more of a sort of kickboxing or a Thai boxing style. It looks like he might throw a rear right kick at any moment.
I'm just a little bit worried about those low kicks coming in, Harry. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what the BCF Commission think of that.
Double jab there from Lev Jackson, just trying to find his way in, but not really bringing his feet behind him. It looks like Luis is trying to time the shot, the power shot there of the right hand. Yeah, he's coming. He is landing it.
It is working.
Uppercut sort of
it is working.
Hook there.
It is working. You know, I think Lev's starting to realize that. Oh, if I double up my jab, I think this is going to give this guy a little bit of problem. You know, with the height difference is making a little bit of trouble here for Lev. You know, like Luis does know that. I would like to see him shoot a jab. There we go. It was a short jab, but he did shoot one. Beautiful right hand.
Oh, wow.
You know, he is backing Lev up currently. Those shots aren't necessarily technically scoring shots, but unless Lev has something else to offer here, I think it's going to be a long night. In fact, I think it is a long night. Minute and a half into the second round. I'm not seeing an awful lot. You know, Lev is going to have to adjust his lead foot. He really needs to place that if he's going to land that backhand. And he's currently being beat to the toe and the punch by Luis Prieto.
Yeah, scheduled for 6 rounds tonight. I think it's going to be a long night for Lev Jackson if he can't find that range there, using his feet to work his way. And I would like to see more body shots from Lev. I thought there we go. I think that's one of his advantages as a boxer, is he likes to work that left hand to the body. But right now he's getting suckered into the timing of Lewis when he's working his way in here.
You know, I think from a tempo perspective, you know, Lev's quite consistent with his tempo, as is Lewis, to be fair. But, you know, if you're going to come forward on that front foot like Lev is, I think he's going to have to do a beautiful right uppercut that landed relatively cleanly there. Again, Lev dropping and ducking down into that target shot zone of that right hand. And again, that right hand lands. And I can see a little bit of swelling above the left brow of Lev Jackson, who's backing up just a little bit for the first time this round. Luis Prieto has an interesting style, you know, utilizing his lead hand almost as a push marker rather than a jab. He's not really finding his range with his lead hand. He's waiting for Lev to walk in and find his range and shooting off of that.
There's
and
that
there
right
it is.
uppercut, a swing and a miss there, but that's the shot he's using to swell up Lev's face there. Like you say, Tarek, measuring with the lead hand and then just timing Lev's forward step off that back uppercut. There it is again, lands clean on Lev's jaw there, just gives him a little wake-up call.
Short round called by the ringside official here tonight going into round 3, and I do see that as 2-0 for Luis Prieto. A tough round for Lev. You know, I think it's going to be more of the same for Luis, and I'm suspicious that it might be more of the same for Lev.
Yeah, I wonder, Tarek, I do wonder. The cut man was going to work there on Lev Jackson's right brow. There's a little bit of a cut developed over his right brow there and a bit of swelling, probably from these strange angle with Prieto's uppercuts. He throws them sort of like half hook, half uppercut, strange angle. I don't think Lev's seeing that as he steps into them more times than not.
Indeed, Harry.
Both fighters are still game, however. It's anybody's fight. We have 6 rounds on the schedule here for this, so it really, I think, boils down to who wants it more at the moment.
Yeah, and as far as I understand, this is going to be both these fighters' first foray into the old 6-round venture. You know, and I think, you know, very heavy breathing from Lev, you know, and your energy management, your physical prep is key. And like I was saying, these 6 rounds in play, you know, you're going to have to do something with what you do, with what you offer in those exchanges. You know, if you're not used to operating at these many rounds, you know, utilizing your jab, there's got to be a reason behind it. Otherwise, you're kind of eating into that little reserve that you have.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Seeing that tonight, I think it's just a little bit high arousal for Lev coming into the ring. I know he gets very excited with these events. He's a hometown favourite a lot of the time. He brings a strong home crowd with him to these fights, but sometimes that can play to your disadvantage, especially with the adrenaline in play.
Absolutely.
Overthrowing and missing shots and not being efficient with your, like you say, your energy reserve there, and this can really play a part coming into these later rounds.
Some messy but relatively functional exchanges currently halfway through this 3rd round. You know, I do think Lev is going to have to be a little bit careful with his head. He does have a tendency to cut people. He was very badly cut himself after a clash he had with Elroy. He does dive in and bomb in. His positioning is a little bit off. I don't see him causing any problems for Luis.
No, it doesn't
so
even
far.
look like Luis has got any swelling on his face whatsoever.
I don't think.
Actually.
I think the current. I don't think Lev has actually landed you know, any significant shots yet. You know, I think Luis's range control has been rather telling, and you know, Lev can't get himself to that position. He's not seeing that he needs to get his lead foot into that position. I do think the height advantage that Luis carries and the range you know, control that he's utilizing through those long arms of his is just really giving Lev a lot of issue. But he has countered quite well. He has landed his first shot of the evening. You know, better late than never, but Luis has replied with 3 very significant punches. There is very significant swelling beginning to develop in the right eye of Lev Jackson. I think, you know, any more shots there, which is the same area that he was cutting his last fight, is going to give him a little bit of trouble with his vision, and you're going to need the periphery of that right eye as a left-handed boxer. Absolutely.
I would like to see that now coming into the 4th round, and a little bit more volume and a little bit more urgency, as if his corner have told him correctly, they would have told him that he's down.
Absolutely. You know, Luis Prieto a little bit late off the stool there. A little bit surprised that the referee allowed that to happen, because the stool was still very much in on the canvas as Lev Jackson approached and took almost half of the ring with his entrance into the 4th round. You know, Luis's resets don't seem to be the tidiest, but Lev just isn't capitalizing on that
No,
at all.
he's not, and he's not seeing that the jaw of Lewis is really high. But what's really interesting is Lewis will take a little half step after the exchange, and it's just enough to be out of range of Lev's lead hand. It's just enough, and it's working for Lewis, despite it being quite unorthodox.
I agree, Harry. I agree. But his hands down style after he shoots, his bad resets through his hips after he shoots. Lev should be really noticing that and cutting the distance very, very quickly. But his feet aren't bringing his hands into this battle, and he's now on the back foot with another cut, what seems to be from his nose, that's giving his breathing a little bit of trouble. I do know that Lev
uppercut again.
does breathe quite heavily as it is, so I do know that deviated septum isn't going to be helping him this evening, especially with the bloody nose. And as you said, Harry, that right uppercut landing quite clean, quite flush.
Yeah, big dollop of snot and blood flying out of Lev's face there on the exchange. That right uppercut for Lewis is finding a home more times than not, and it doesn't seem like Lev's figured out the timing for that at all.
No, he hasn't.
It's a scrappy exchange for sure, but I definitely think Lewis is getting the better of the two when it comes to these exchanges. It's, like you say, it's not the tidiest, but this pouring style of the lead hand and then timing the rear hand is what is working nicely for Luis Prieto tonight.
Yes, indeed. A cool customer. I'm impressed with him. I'm maybe not impressed with with the kind of technical applications. Not the most technical boxer, but I am impressed with his emotional control. I'm impressed with how much confidence he has in himself. And, he's getting the job done, and that's what it is. Pro boxing's a job, and getting the job done sometimes is enough. As what, he's relatively earlier on, but, these are two what seemingly, from their previous performances are journeymen in boxing, and that might be just what their angle is and their motivation is, and, he's definitely getting the job. A nice right uppercut off that lead hand, again by Luis Prieto. He's sticking to what he knows. Lev Jackson tried to signal that he was caught at the back of the head there. I'm not sure about that, though. But you can take what you can get right now if you're Lev. He's really struggling with these exchanges, and if I were Lev, I would be shooting back just as I'm being touched by Luis Prieto. That's when I would be shooting back, because he is in range, but Lev just hasn't figured that out yet.
No, I agree, Tarek. He seems to be struggling a little bit here with this unorthodox nature of Lewis's timing. He's a hometown favourite, but like you said, Prieto is a cool customer tonight, and I think it's working in his favour. He's not getting drawn into the showmanship of Lev Jackson at all, and in fact, it's really just been a tale of that rear hand and just coming off the angle. And there again, lands again.
Right hand, almost put Lev down there, and it wasn't really the power of it. Lev seems to just be walking into these right hands. Almost like he's enjoying it, Harry.
He's in the right game for that, but it's fascinating how this is a battle of footwork.
Yes.
Especially with the orthodox southpaw set up here, and it seems to be that Mr. Prieto is getting the advantage of all the exchanges.
Yeah, absolutely. I really would love to see Lev, take some action now.
Nice rear hand there from Lev.
Beautiful rear hand again. However, by Luis Prieto, catching him quite square on the brow. Lev shaking his head as if to signal that it did not hurt him, but that would have hurt me. In fact, that would have put me on my butt. And Luis in control of this now. He's really got Lev's range and timing down, almost just nonchalantly slipping away anytime Lev comes forward.
He does. He's got a look in his eye now, Lewis, as well. He's looking for the finish. He's got Lev's blood splattered across his face here, across the left cheek.
I was just about to ask, whose blood is that?
Yeah, that's Lev's. That's coming out of Lev's nose.
Nice.
He's got a look in his eye where I think he's looking for the finish here, Lewis. I think he's got the energy to do it, but it's all just going to be a question if he can land flush.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Harry. I think, there it is again. And if you're going to lunge forward with both feet coming forward, and your
nice
head down,
right hand from Lev Jackson.
But Lev Jackson landed a beautiful right hand, as you just said. So you never know. Mouth guard coming out. The referee calling time and waving Luis Prieto into the neutral corner. Jana Finkbeiner also ushering and helping him into the neutral corner, just in case he didn't know. But Lev putting his mouthguard back in, the referee giving him the opportunity to do so. I wasn't sure if it was a heavy shot or if it was just one of those jaw malfunctions that kind of stops your mouthguard staying in. However, we're back to it now. About a minute left to go in the fifth and penultimate round. A nice lead left hand finally landing from Lev Jackson. That might give him a little bit of a push, a little bit of onus to maybe come forward and maybe trust in it a little bit. And again from a backhand from Lev. Much better display. I'd like to see a little bit more of this from Lev Jackson. It's in there. There's maybe just a little bit of confidence that's lacking coming forwards. And, if only we apply this in the opening rounds, this could have been a very, very different fight, Harry.
Yeah, 100% agree. If he had only found that that range for that left hand in the opening 2 rounds, I think this would have been a very different story. The momentum would have shifted entirely. However,
beautiful backhand landing. Again, followed by a lead hand. Nice combination put in here by Luis Prieto. He's picking his shots very, very well.
Smells blood now. Smells the blood, yeah, coming forward. Lots of shots there strung together. A few clean landing with that rear hand again. It's been the story of the fight tonight, really, for Mr. Prieto, is that rear hand. Just every time Lev steps in, he doesn't seem to take his head off center.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Harry.
Oh, and again, Lev dropping his head there with no hands in front. He just ate that square to the face. That rocked him a little bit there. He's just questioning his life decisions, I think, for a brief moment.
It's a hard way to earn a living, and you never know what can happen there, with all due respect to everybody involved in this evening.
Going into the 6th and final round now here then, with Lewis trying to time that. I think he's going to look for a finish here in this final round. I don't think he wants this to go to the distance.
Jab. Beautiful jab again. It's the first jab I've seen him actually throw as a jab this evening, and it landed very cleanly. I'd like to see that again.
Yeah, it's a really interesting strategy, isn't it? Pouring instead of jabbing and then saving the jabs for the last few rounds. But he's obviously confident in that strategy. Maybe that's something he's done before, like we say. Not much tape on Luis Prieto to examine for us as commentators, but yeah, very interesting strategy, and it's working. It's really working so far.
Absolutely, Harry. Absolutely. Continue to do what works.
Lev's not out of the game yet, though. Oh, and another right hand from Lewis, straight down the middle this time. A change from the usual strange angle of the uppercut. You can hear in the background of my microphone there someone saying, "You've got this, Lev, this fight's yours." I disagree entirely, actually. I don't think Lev has this at all. I think he's losing. I think he needs to go for broke right now.
I would respectfully disagree with him as well, Harry. You know, perhaps he's only just arrived, and that's okay. And you're here to support who you're here to support. But I think Luis is managing this very well. He's not being silly. He's having a professional approach to his time management right now. He's doing a very good job of understanding that doesn't need to put anything on the line with Lev currently, but he is engaging when he needs to, and he's pivoting off very, very nicely. And again, Lev behind on that exchange, Harry.
Yeah, I think one of the most impressive elements of Lewis's game tonight has been his composure.
Yep.
Actually, he's been very measured, and this was maybe a character trait that we saw yesterday in the weigh-ins, but very calm, very, very soft-spoken, like I said before. But this composure's transferred into the ring tonight, and when he's not the favorite and he's not in front of his home crowd, but he doesn't seem bothered. He's not breathing heavy at all, and he's just looking for those. There it is again, just throwing a miss there with that rear hand. But that's been the weapon of choice tonight.
Absolutely, Harry. Oh, and a backhand landed by Lev Jackson, and an up and a rear, and a lead hand also now landed. A beautiful lead hook in there by Lev. Maybe it's a little bit too late. He's going to have to go for broke here if he's going to have any sort of chance of winning this fight. But he has taken a lot of punishment, Harry.
Yeah, his face is starting to swell up big time now. I think he's going to have a few headaches tomorrow morning when he wakes up. But
I reckon he's got a few headaches now. I'm going to be honest with you.
Lewis pouring with that lead hand, just turning it into a jab when he wants to, or measuring when he wants, or swinging a miss there with the left hand.
10 seconds left of this bout this evening. Both fighters coming in, putting on a little bit of a show for the crowd of the River Rock here. That's the final bell. Both boxers giving each other a lot of love and respect. Good sportsmanship from both.
Fight fans, after 6 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecard for a decision. Judge Ed Garner scores the fight 58-56 Prieto. Judge Ed Pearson scores the fight 58-56 Jackson. Judge Alan Krebs scores the fight 59-55 for your winner by split decision. In the red corner, Lev Gutsy Jackson.